My favorite animal to hunt. Big, mature, dominant whitetail bucks.
DBD, baby, dominant buck down.
Bow hunting is super exciting, just up close and personal. Everything's got to be just right.
This is what we're after, big dominant bucks just like this.
What a great buck.
Our first buck harvest filming solo cam style, and what a rush it was.
They are the smartest, most adaptable, big game animal in North America.
Yes, give me a second. Right there, right there, right there. Yes, that's that big 9. A big, heavy, mature 9-point with 1, 2, 3 big stickers back down by the base.
Most of my early season whitetail hunting, you got to understand, is out west or maybe in Kentucky. And my favorite early season food source is alfalfa and clover. And the reason, it's the weather is usually mild in early season and we haven't had much frost, so the deer are still coming to that clover and that alfalfa because it hasn't been burnt back yet. And you can pattern them, you can watch them, you know exactly where they're coming out, so you can slip in there in the middle of the morning and set your tree stand, and usually first time in is always going to be best.
In my region, apples, alfalfa, clover from food plots, and acorns are probably your biggest draw. Deer are definitely going to be utilizing these food sources during the early season, and a hunter's got to know exactly where these food sources are.
Hunting bachelor group bucks, and they're in a big group early season, it can be a great time to harvest one. There are disadvantages, obviously they're all together, but one big advantage is they're coming before they've had any of the hunting pressure of the season. Early, I try to keep it still low pressure, scouting from a distance from the truck, get in that early season, play the wind, and try to kill one.
We've been watching these bucks. There's 12 bucks over there. 4 or 5 of them are big ones. And they're coming out into the beans. I can't stress enough in early season how important this type of thing is to get yourself dialed into these bucks. And if you do your homework and get yourself set up right, you can usually, the first, second time in, you can usually get a good deer.
I don't know if you can see the cabin over there or not, but we've been glassing them with spot and scope coming out in these beans from over there the last 4 days. 94 degrees. We got scent lock on. We got the ozonics units out. Thermacell. Sweat just dripping down my nose. Right here, coming, that big 8. Coming right here. That's that big 8, hard antlered 8.
Early season hunting can be one of the most productive times to harvest a mature buck. And for the pros of dominant bucks, early season tactics always begin in late summer.
Giant 8, look at the tines came in.
Establishing mineral sites setting up feeding stations, and monitoring trail cameras are all part of the puzzle early season. Stan Pott's Kentucky lease is the perfect example of a big buck honey hole, as large tracts of security cover are surrounded by lush crops that harbor bachelor groups of bucks. With Kentucky's opener always on the first Saturday of September, often bucks are still in velvet and easily patternable. Hunters who do their homework often get opportunities early season, and Stan's strategy of hunting out of state early saves his prime Illinois areas for the rut. Coming up, Solo Cam Pro Richie Wilhelm goes full draw on a whopper Wisconsin buck when Dominant Bucks returns.
This portion of Matthew's Dominant Bucks is presented by Hoyman Extendable Tree Saw, the shooting lane saw.
I'm Mark Wimpy, and you're watching Dominant Bucks.
It worked out. I'm happy. Look at that. Good deal.
I'm Stan Potts, and this is Dominant Bucks.
Look at that right there.
That is a stud.
Look at that right there. Sure. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so we're just coming down this wood road here, and this is a nice funnel area because we got bogs on both sides. We got about a 50-yard strip of woods here, and we're gonna see if there's much acorns falling here. We got like white oaks. We got these white oaks. You could tell they got the rounded lobes on them. They're usually sweeter. So, but I know right through this little funnel area, there's some nice ones. Oh yeah, look at them dropping. Look at, wow, look at them all here. Look at these. These are nice white oak acorns. They actually like these a lot better because they're sweeter.
Let me show you why I use Scout Look. I'm gonna check my scent cone, my wind direction, and see what stands will work and what stands won't. And there's the farmhouse right there. There's all 5 of our double sets, and we've got this property right here to hunt. And I want to check like the 185 stand. Let's check the wind. There you go. See, the wind's totally wrong because we're hunting all this property down here. The wind's blowing right down into this big draw, so that's not good.
A lot of guys think, man, I got to go out and I got to get permission from someone that has 300 or 400 acres, or I got to lease 1,000 acres. Don't forget about the 20 acres that's in between them big wood lots. A lot of time those are great pinch points, funnel areas, travel corridors for big deer. So when you're out there scouting, driving the roads, just because you can't get in the big block of timber, look beside it, look in the next section. Is there a brushy draw? Maybe an old farmer has 20 acres. Sometimes that 20 acres can be better than the 400 beside it. So just keep that in mind when you're out scouting. It don't always have to be a huge chunk of ground to kill a big dominant buck.
The biggest challenge to me in pursuing big trophy whitetails is the time commitment. If there's one thing that's for certain, it's gonna take a lot of time in the tree stand in preparation for you to get that big buck on the ground. So luckily, I love to prepare for the bow season. That just goes hand in hand with actually getting these big mature trophy bucks into bow range, is the time commitment that it takes to actually make that whole process work.
Dominant buck hunter Richie Wilhelm is obsessed with hunting mature whitetails. Living near La Crosse, Wisconsin, Richie hunts the hardwood ridges and fertile valleys of the Mississippi River. This morning, Richie is in the tree on a solo cam mission, self-videotaping his own hunt. With an awesome buck located, Wilhelm has been hopscotching between tree stands in this hardwood forest for over a week. It seems whichever wind he sets up for, the buck never appears in bow range.
Sun's just starting to come up. Should be a good day. Anything's better than working. We got the Big Ten coming right down the line.
Obviously, I'm out there for the ultimate goal, which is to solo film myself, fill and tag a dominant buck that I'm pursuing. You know, you're filming, but you're also that hunter at the same time. You know, that's a lot of stuff going on. And also you got this big dominant buck walking right at you, and you're trying not to alert that buck that, hey, there's a guy up in this tree trying to film and shoot at the same time. What's this guy doing? You know, you get yourself into some situations where, you know, do I shoot or don't I? You know, when you got a buck quarter to you, facing away, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's all things that you have to make the best judgment on how am I, you know, most humanely gonna harvest this animal.
The one buck that I wanted to kill more than anything was 20 yards away. A quarter and 2 shot. You definitely gotta be spot on with it. Well, blood keeps looking real good. Consistent. Hoping he's gonna be right around the corner here.
I can't. This is by far the biggest deer I've ever killed. Luckiest bull hunter in the world right now, man. I just can't even put words together to explain how happy I am. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous about the shot. I knew it was kind of low. Look at that thing.
This portion of Matthew's Dominant Bucks is presented by Polaris, hardest working, smoothest riding.
This Dominant Bucks flashback is presented by Scout Look Weather's free mobile phone apps, enabling you to hunt smart. Watch as Illinois' buck hunter Mark Beck arrows 2 awesome dominant bucks within 3 minutes of each other.
He postures on the decoy. Fortunately, I made a perfect shot. Get the camera on, he runs over and tips over. And as I start to turn the record button off, there's the other one, right there, 10 yards from me. He's focused on the decoy, thank goodness, so I get another arrow on, I get turned around. So I end up taking him right there, 10 yards away.
That's a big split G2 buck, 165-inch deer. Unbelievable. Awesome. This is one of the best hunts I've had in my life. 2 big bucks within 3 minutes of each other. This is the first star of the show. We got the co-star laying about 80 yards from this one. Just an incredible whitetail. Oh, just look at that. Just bladed here. Got a kicker coming off his pedicle here. Broke a big old brow tine, 7-8 inches.
My strategy that I use, I think that might give me an edge, is just persistence, and effort, time. They always say, oh, you get lucky, you're lucky. Well, you know, create your own luck by working hard and putting the time. Fortunately, I have the time to do that, but I'm out there every chance I get. I think that's one reason that I am lucky.
Early season, I hunt him on the edges. The closer it's getting to the rut, I slip in a little bit closer to get him out on his feet before darkness comes, and try to get in there and kill him when it's time.
Big 10-point, really good mass. I mean,
I try to be in my very best stands when I've got a moon that's waning rather than a full moon. I try to save those locations for as long as I can. It's like the killing tree that I killed my 200-inch buck out of. I didn't visit that tree but about 3 or 4 times out of the entire season, but I didn't go there until the time was right.
We took a cutty-back camera the other day and put it up over on the east side of the farm in a little logging road that comes through a pine thicket. and it actually leads to a soybean field. Right here, 6:44 p.m., and right here's 2 shooters. A big 8 with some stickers, and looks like right behind him, looks like it could be a good big 9 still in velvet. There's the 9 at 7:01 with still plenty of daylight left.
It's critical to do your homework and pattern those bucks and know exactly where they're coming out into the food source so you can set up on them accordingly. And I like to tell people that if I had 5 days to hunt early season whitetail bucks, I would rather spend 2 days glassing and scouting and watching the food source and 3 days hunting versus just going in and having 5 days to hunt.
A doe, a fawn, a small buck, and a big one following the small one, coming right up this way. They're coming right up this way. They're gonna come right through here. The big one is the last deer.
There's no replacing what you learn from the big dominant buck himself. You have to be out there. You have to spend your time.
Gosh darn it.
I'm Barry Greenhall, and this is Dominant Bucks. I couldn't be any happier. Headed back to Arkansas with a beautiful Kansas buck.
When it comes to filling your deer tag, a lot of people worry about filling that tag too early and still have a lot of season left. Well, you know what is too early? The bottom line to the whole thing is, and my theory is never shoot anything on the last day that you wouldn't shoot on the first day. If he's a good deer and he comes in, you like him, you shoot him. Doesn't matter when in the season it is.
A doe, a fawn, a small buck, and a big one following the small one, coming right up this way.
When you got that big buck coming into you, you have to pay attention to his body language. You have to look at him, watch him, see his movements as he's coming in. You got to know what's in front of him. You got to know what the area is so you can pinpoint exactly when you need to draw your bow and get ready for the shot. And his body language and his surroundings will tell you that. You don't want to draw too early because sometimes he'll stop. You want to look and try to draw on him when he goes behind something or when he can't see any movement. You know, it's critical. You got to pay attention to that body language.
You got him. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Lord. Yes. A beautiful, big, full velvet 9-pointer. Probably at least a 4-year-old. But he's seen something up here he didn't like. I mean, on pins and needles for probably 15 minutes. And finally, he gave me a shot, and I drew really, really slow. As many years as I've been doing it, and it's no different today than it was the first time. I just love it. Good looking buck. Thanks for being with me right here, Barry. Look at that blue knock. It took us just a minute to get all of our stuff together and got dark. Look right there. Isn't that pretty? I had him send me some blue knocks. I'd never seen these blues before. Blood all up and down. And we watched him, and it looked like he went down right down here in the bottom. Come on with me, folks. I can see blood without a flashlight with the camera light, all right in here. He went right up in this bottom somewhere. Look right there to the left. Yes, that's what I'm talking about right there. Big Kentucky 9. Come on with me. I was certain we saw him go down. He run maybe 100 yards, maybe. Let me get this Matthews Creed. We creeded him. The Creed. Let me get him up here. Look at this, folks. Let me get down here. Look at that. Big Velvet Kentucky 9. Big brow tines. Look at that G3. Full velvet, not even starting to come off. Big body, big mature deer. I don't know, 140s probably. Thanks for being with me.
It's all a process. And what a wonderful process that it is. It starts from shed hunting. Then it moves into the scouting in the summertime. Then it moves into the season. You're hunting food plots. You've had your cameras out. You're hunting timber. You're hunting the whole process. And the end result, it's so gratifying. It's all worth it. And that's why we all here at Dominant Bucks, that's why we do what we do. Because the end result is so satisfying.